Hey everybody, Max Given here. It's Little Cutie Podcast. It's not too long. Oh, how are you guys' eyes doing? Are they itchy? Do you have itchy eyes? Do you have itchy eyes or itchy balls? The thing is, if you have itchy balls, you don't use the same cream in your eyes, because that's not gonna work. Anyway, a little bit of both, but man. Oh god, it's allergy season again over here in Japan. You're a long time listener of the podcast. Maybe about every time around this year, every time around this year, every year around this time, every year around this time, I complain about the pollen. The cedar trees, the cedar trees are beating off into the air, releasing their pollen. They're like, oh, maybe one day my pollen will fly in the wind and touch a female cedar tree, and then we'll make a little cedar tree, not an acorn, pine cone. We'll make a little, I don't know if they make acorns or pine cones, but whatever it is, that's what they'll make. And then it'll drop on the floor. You guys think humans kind of like we watch a lot of pornography, you know? You ever wonder what it's like to be a cedar tree, you know? You're just like watching pictures of acorns fall on the ground, you know? You're just like, oh yeah, drop those acorns on the ground. Oh, gravity, you're so hot. Oh, I love it. Oh yeah, pull. Pull in every direction. Everything pulls on everything else. E equals MC squared. Pull down those acorns on the ground. Oh yeah. What else? You know? Then fruit trees are like, oh yeah, dear, eat my fruit. Let my seeds go through your digestive system, and so you can poop them out somewhere else so I can spread my DNA. That's a weird niche. That's a weird niche, you know. I guess they have, they got like weird categories, for the freaky people, But I guess that's a super weird category, right? It's just like, well, watching pine cones open. Oh baby, open your pine cones. The pine cone girls are like walking through the forest, wearing revealing clothing. They're like, oh my god, I'm fully open. My pine cone's fully open right now. You can totally see my seeds. And all the other pine cones are like, damn it, Sally, you're a whore. Yeah, anyway, enough hot tree talk. Yeah, I do a joke about this in my set there. How I'm allergic to pollen. And pollen is the sexual organ of plants, So basically, all the plants are jizzing in my eyes right now, and it's making me very, very, very miserable. I'm very miserable right now. I'm very unhappy. You watch these videos. These girls, they get the jizz on their face. They look really happy. I'm not happy at all. I'm not happy at all. Man, I hope nobody knows. Nobody I know listens to this anyway. This is what happens, kids, when you can't go outside. You can't go outside because the pollen in the air will make you itchy. Oh god, it's totally got a couple days. So I went on Sunday. What day is this today? Today's Wednesday. Sunday I went out into Tokyo and I filmed a little skit with another comedian friend, and then I did a set at the Tokyo Comedy Bar, then I come home, so I was like outside, and then Monday it's like, oh, my eyes just wanted to jump out of my sockets, and I'm taking all this medicine too. I went to the doctor, I'm on 3 different types of medication, I got these pollen blocking glasses, none of that works, dude. It works, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Why does my immune system attack my eyes? Anyway, it's really annoying. It's really annoying. It's just one of those things in life that's really annoying. It's not like you live in Palestine and your house is getting blown up or anything. It's just like your eyes are itchy all day. So you gotta, at least you gotta be thankful for what you have. At least I have a house in which I can continue in which my eyes can continually itch. Anyway, Is anybody still listening? I've been thinking about quitting the podcast, to be honest, for like a while now, for like, since I started it, basically. What's the point, really, It's like, I do this joke as a, in my act there, the trick to making a successful podcast is to already be a successful comedian. Is to already have an audience that want to listen. Being some nobody, no one wants to listen to that. So it's like, what's the point? I'm just spending money every year for this for no reason, basically. For me, just for myself. But I guess when I started this, I did it to come up with new joke material. But I'm kind of been doing that on my own recently. Kind of have a different exercise that I do to do that. So I don't know. I mean, what's the point of the podcast, really? What's the point? I mean, I feel like, if anything now, if people that I do know listen, it's like the only thing, it can only be bad, Someone's going to get angry at something you say here, You're like, oh my God, did you hear that guy? He was talking about the acorns falling on the ground. That's inappropriate. We gotta make sure his life is ruined now, I just feel like it's something like that's going to happen. So I'll get basically no gain from this, and it'll just be a net negative on my entire life, That's kind of what I'm worried, or that's just, I'm not worried, but that's just what I've been thinking about. Just what I've been thinking about recently. What else is going on? I've been playing PlayStation 5 Pro. I've been playing PlayStation 5 Pro on my 65-inch OLED TV. No big deal. I beat Final Fantasy Rebirth. No big deal. It was a fun, uproarious adventure. Yeah, the game was okay. All right, we're getting into hot nerd talk. You guys ready for some hot nerd talk right now? Okay, as I've said before, anybody listening to this right now, anybody listening to me do hot nerd talk, don't tell any women about this. All right? Everything I'm about to say is not, if a woman is, it's not me. Don't tell. Okay, anyway, so, yeah, I like the art, the quests were good, and the environments were good, but I just didn't really, the battle system was kind of, you just kind of mash the buttons there, and it's not really, I mean, you just kind of just mash the buttons every day, you don't really, there's no strategy really, I mean, you can't really. Okay, so I'm playing God of War right now, like the fighting system of God of War is very good, it's like, it's all about timing, you gotta time your shots, you gotta do your little combos, you gotta do combos, you gotta do synergy between different moves, and then you gotta time it, because the enemies are attacking, they have unblockable attacks, you gotta dodge but in Final Fantasy Rebirth, I mean, they kind of got that too, they got like, you gotta block it, but there's no, they don't like prompt you, like the enemies kind of just run around really fast, and then they just kind of suddenly attack, so there's not really I guess there is a pattern you can memorize, but like, who would want to do that, like what's good about God of War, they signal you, it flashes like yellow or red, that signals you. But Final Fantasy Rebirth, they don't give you any signals. They're just like, remember back 30 years ago when you had to memorize the patterns? Don't you guys miss doing that? It's like, no, that wasn't fun at all. That's not fun, especially when it's like super fast like this and there's really nothing. There's really no pattern to memorize. They just kind of, it's like a quarter of a second. You don't have any reaction time, so. And basically, you just kind of mash the buttons there, and then you win. And it's like, oh, you won. Good job mashing the buttons. Anyway, that was good. So the battle system kind of got disappointing towards, you go through the first 10 hours or whatever, like, okay, this is okay. When's the battles, after all the battle mechanics are introduced, you're like, okay, when is this gonna get good here pretty soon? But it never really gets good, and halfway through the game, you're like, I'm kind of sick of getting in the battles here. It's not even fun there. So eventually, like the last chapter on Final Fantasy, I just turned it on easy mode and just plowed through the end of it. So I was like, this isn't even really fun. These battles, I just kind of want to finish the game there, But everything else about the game was pretty cool, I like that. The story and the quests, the game had actually kind of had a lot of flaws besides the battle system there. It also had like the item management system. Like you go around to collect these items for crafting, but like you never use items, so it's like there's no point in crafting. And I ended up the game, I had like 99 of every craftable thing that I never used, You know, it's like you never use any of the items you craft. It's like, what's the whole point of this? Is kind of fucking useless. Why would you even have this? You know, it's like, what's the point of that? You know, it's like I did all this, I collected all these craftable things for no goddamn reason. Anyway, don't tell any women. Don't tell any women about this. Let's see. What I'm trying to think of anything else I didn't like about Final Fantasy VII. Rebirth. I don't know. I guess that's it. You know, some of the menus kind of didn't really mean. I don't know. It's like the game was so polished. It was so polished at some things, and then some other things like the item system, and then it's just like, what are they doing? How do they mess this up? Who messed this anyway? Anywho, so let's talk about God of War Ragnarok. This game came out, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. Kind of late to the party. It's a sequel to the regular God of War. Don't tell any women about this. It's basically the same. It's just the same game, you know. That's the only disappointing thing about it. Is like it's not really like all they kind of improved like all the items and stuff, you know. But like the game itself kind of plays the same as the first one there, you know. So it's kind of like just like the same. It's the same game, you know. It's like download content, you know. They call it the DLC. They call it an expansion. It's like an expansion of the same game instead of like a sequel, you know. There's a lot of new stuff in it, but I guess because it's also multi-platform there, you know. It also came out for the PlayStation 4, you know. It's like it doesn't really feel like a PlayStation 5 game, you know, when you're playing it. It kind of feel like, well, no, this is a PlayStation 4 game. It's a PlayStation 4 game. Anyway, it's pretty fun. It's good. I enjoy it. I've also downloaded. Yeah, you know what I was thinking is like when I'm playing is like, well, man, if Final Fantasy Rebirth had this kind of battle system, it would be like the perfect game. It's like no wonder. Like I heard that Square Enix is upset that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't sell that many copies. And I kind of I guess I understand why now, because like the battle system's just kind of boring, you know. If you compare it to God of War, it's a shit show, you know. But if it had the battle system of God of War, it would probably want to be one of the best games ever made of all time. Everyone would be like, "Oh my God, this is the best game ever made of all time," you know. And I heard Final Fantasy 16 kind of tries to do that style, the same God of War style. So we'll see. I haven't played it yet, but that's what I heard. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll try. I'll test it out. Just test it out. All right. Well, I guess that's my hot nerd talk. Again, don't tell any women about this. Just tell the women that I was busy, you know, doing financial stuff, you know, just making gains on the crypto markets, dude. Just ready to buy my third mansion, dude. I've been making gains in the crypto markets, dude. I'm a finance banker, bruh. On the weekends, I do cocaine with my gains. Yeah, that's how women choose their men. You're like, what kind of drugs do you do? And it's like, oh, I smoke weed. It's like, oh, you're a loser. And it's like, oh, I do cocaine. She's like, oh, you must be rich. Let's hang out. You know what? Anyway, thanks for listening. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow.